So now we're just going to shift gears slightly, although we're still talking about continuum expectations. On your tables, you have these envelopes here. Please do keep them with just two of you. So take an envelope for maybe 2 or 3 of you together. And inside are expectations that we've pulled out. So if you could, and I'll explain as you're doing that. So what you're doing is you're looking for similarities and differences in the expectations with respect to measurements.
Looks like work.
And so see if you can sequence the curriculum in terms of what would you do first, what would you do second, how might you connect this one to the next one, and so on and so forth. So have a chat with and introduce yourself to someone next to you. So
Yes. Oh, wow. But then we confuse them. So when you
hey,
do the
so
masterization of
we're just curious to hear some of your thoughts on what are maybe some of the benefits considering the sequence of learning and doing an activity like this where you're considering what it is. I've heard things people talk in their groups about, well, personally I might do something like this, or, oh, it depends on what it come with in grade 7 maybe, or maybe we're considering grouping expectations together. So what are some of the benefits of considering sequence of learning like this from grade 8 to 9, and what kind of conversations might happen in situations where teachers get together and talk about this, and partnerships that might happen when they do something like this? What are your thoughts about maybe your experiences of how that has worked for you? Yeah?
You know what I'm talking about, but I just recently finally got to teach kids from like one grade to the next. I had been bumped from school to school semester by semester. So I never really saw, how they continued personally. And it makes a huge difference, like a huge difference. So you get kids who, obviously they're going to get different teachers, but if you have no idea what it is someone's actually teaching in their class versus what the curriculum says they should, your understanding of where the kids are is completely different.
Yeah, I think that sentiments echo through a lot of what you guys are talking about earlier. Other thoughts on? Yeah.
Or would you say that one of the colors was grade 8 and one was 9? But when I sorted it out, I assumed the yellow must be grade 10. And I do remember conversations with my grade 8 colleagues where we had to say, actually in grade 8, some of your curriculum expectations are much more challenging than grade 9 applied are. So trying to talk the grade 8 teachers down to say, you don't have to have everybody be 100% proficient with all of these expectations, because they're not even going to do surface area in grade 9 applied. So don't beat a kid up about their ability because they can't get through the grade.
Yeah, celebrating maybe some of the things that they are doing.
Let some of the things go and make them a positive attitude and growth mindset was more important than mastering all things.
So initially when we did this activities ourselves a couple years ago, we also had like another grade 10 one, right? Was that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, but for the purpose of this, we wanted to keep it a little shorter, so there was 2 of them, so 8 and 9.
But yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the things I found interesting about this one is that quite often, if you're like us, we're a 9 to 12 school. And we're very segregated from our elementary panel, right? That's them and us, and and they feel the same way. And we were lucky at our school, we got to actually do a cross-panel program a couple of years ago where we got to go in and see the grade 7 and 8 teachers, and they got to come and see us. And I know that's the new push right now. They're throwing money at everybody to say, we need to blend this a little bit. We need to fill that gap between what the grade 7 and 8s or the elementaries are doing to the grade 9. So looking at this, I never even considered to look at the grade 8 curriculum because I was a grade 9, 10, 11, 12 teacher, and I'm worried about what I'm doing tomorrow, not what they did last year. So it was really helpful to actually kind of see that and go, hey, you know what? Like, I didn't know they learned that in grade 8. And now that my kids are going through the elementary system, I'm like, what? You're already doing, you're doing bar charts and JK? What the heck am I doing it in data management? It's amazing what they can do at elementary school. And then all of a sudden, sometimes our expectations change in high school. And maybe we should be changing that back. So would you, I know that the documents are really wordy, and I was talking to you guys in the back about that. Like sometimes you open up those curriculum documents and you're just like, oh, gosh, there's too many brackets in here and examples and IEs and EGs. And so one of the things that Rose did when she cut this all up is she literally took the first sentence out of each expectation of that thing. And it made it a lot more appealing to look at. Put it on pretty colored paper, and it's much easier when it's cut and paste. And it's something to consider doing with maybe your 8, your 9, and your 10 or 11, and instead of take a day or take some time in a PD session with your colleagues and say, maybe we should look at this and maybe we should reorganize or group something together.